Wednesday, October the 21st. Lake level is about the same as it was last week. It's right at 914. They've been generating a little bit of water the last couple of days. We've had quite a bit of rain. But I don't have much of a fishing report for you. I've only fished Table Rock 2 days since my last fishing report last week. But I did fish today and day before yesterday. I've been down at Bull Shoals and fishing a tournament down there. Kind of got my rear end handed to me. But anyways, today we didn't go out till late. We didn't even go out till noontime. And we went up the upper end of Long Creek, from Yoakum Creek on up, about as far as you could go. A lot of bait up there. We caught a lot of fish on the mud flats up there. And most of the fish we caught up there was on like a 1.5 square bill or RC 1.5 with another bait we threw, and also on a spinner bait. Most of these fish were extremely shallow. The boat was sitting in 6 to 8 foot of water, casting up, and mainly the fish seemed to be relating. I don't think it really matters what color spinnerbait or square bill, just something in a shad pattern. But the fish really seem to be keying on shad. So a lot of times they would be around a piece of wood, but most of the time they were just underneath the big schools of shad. And it seemed like when we first got up there it was kind of slow, so we went on the steeper banks where the channel is, threw a shaky head and a small jig and cranked some of that. But we had our best luck out on the flat parts, just kind of chasing shad. We caught a lot of little guys, but I think about every 5th or 6th fish would catch a keeper. And the other day when it was raining and kind of storming, they actually bit a rock crawler real good around Kimberling City. And it was thrown a couple different colors. I think it's called a red craw, but I think a wigglewort will work as well. Like a Strike King 3XD will work. I just happened to have the rock crawlers tied on, so that's what we threw. But we caught them on all 3 of these colors, and we're fishing a lot of transition banks where it goes from bigger chunk rock to gravel, whether it be on a main lake point or inside of the creek. And also in some of the same areas, we caught several spinnerbait fish. Now, most of the spinnerbait fish I'm catching, we're not burning that spinnerbait. Even up there underneath them shad, we're having to drop the bait down 3 or 4 feet and just slow roll it. The places I'm throwing a crankbait, where we're throwing a spinnerbait behind it, letting the spinnerbait go down to the bottom. We're setting it about, depending on how steep the bank is, but about 15, 20 foot casting in. So when I'm starting that spinnerbait, I'm letting it go to the bottom and just keeping it off the bottom, real slow retrieve. And I think you can throw like a fish head in the same area. Now I tried a little swim bait out there deeper today before we went way up in the river, and I didn't find too many fish around the docks. That we didn't catch any, and I didn't even really see any on my live scope or my electronics. But also the other day when it was cloudy, and Table Rock's kind of one of them lakes, when it's nasty out, the fish usually bite. And we got several bites off of cedar trees, slow rolling a spinnerbait. Cedar trees that are in 12 to 15 foot on secondary points. Also, we caught some on a redfin and a walking bait like a Zara Spook or a Sexy Dog. But it wasn't as easy as I'm making it sound. We had to cover tons of water. You get 2 or 3 bites in an area, then you might go, hour and a half. With the exception of the crankbait bite, they bit pretty good early, about up to about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then that slowed down. And the weather stayed kind of nasty, but the fish must have just been up, feeding early. But my most consistent bite, like I say, has been up in the upper river arms and fishing around them shad. I didn't go up there when it was cloudy and rainy, but a lot of times when it's nasty like that, the bait's not real active up there in that real skinny water. It seems like the days that work best up there is when the sun is real high, kind of like a day we're going to have tomorrow, like a bluebird day, post-front conditions. A lot of times the fish don't get fired up till later in the day when that sun gets good and high. They get a little bit more active. But the water temperature, I didn't mention that right off the bat, but the water temperature is cooling down. We found 66 to 68 degree water temperature. I think that water temperature needs to get down there around 60 degrees, and fish will get a lot more active. Like I said, I did not do any deep fishing this week. I only fished 2 days, and both days I just keyed in on shallow fish. So, till next week, good luck, good fishing.